All right, bottom of the hour now here at the KFYR Plus News Desk. And today we are joined by Dunham Biles, founding member of the Biles Wilson Law Firm in Dallas, Texas, and leading expert in complex litigation. We'll explore a groundbreaking lawsuit alleging ChatGPT's role in a tragic murder-suicide, raising urgent questions about AI compatibility and accountability. Mr. Biles, welcome to the News Desk. Thank you for your time today.
Good afternoon, Jay. Pleasure to be with you.
So some context here now for the viewers. ChatGPT is accused of being complicit in a murder for the first time, allegedly causing now the death of a Connecticut mother who was killed by her son after the AI chatbot fed his paranoid delusions, according to an explosive lawsuit filed last week. Now, from a legal standpoint, what does it mean to accuse artificial intelligence platform of being complicit in a murder?
Well, it means that the plaintiffs and their lawyers alleging that they failed to design ChatGPT to be sufficiently safe for users and failed to give appropriate warnings to users so that they would understand that perhaps they should not put all their faith and trust in what a bot tells you about your own potential mental disorders and what you're thinking about other people trying to kill you or record you or other things, which is apparently what happened in this particular case.
How does this case differ from previous lawsuits involving AI and harm?
It's actually very similar. It's just a different angle on it. In this particular case, it's a murder-suicide, and they're going after the murder portion of that case. The poor victim who unfortunately was beat to death by her own son viciously. They're going after the damages to the estate to her, both while she was alive and afterwards. But it's the same allegations in essence.
Mr. Biles, could this lawsuit redefine the concept of duty of care for AI companies?
Well, having read it, one might hope that it would. It's a shocking set of allegations. Of course, you have to be careful when reading a complaint. It's one side of the story, and as it says, it's on information and belief. But in essence, what they're alleging is that the person who committed the crime here asked the bot whether he had mental illness and other things, and the bot responded that no, he was perfectly fine. In fact, he was a super genius, and that all of these things were true. And that's a frightening world. It's hard to imagine, even trusting anybody to provide a diagnosis of your sanity. And then to come from a bot that apparently was making him trust in the bot emotionally and otherwise, that is a frightening set of facts, if true.
Is this uncharted territory?
It's yes. Well, it's being charted as we speak. There are multiple cases around the country. Many of them are in California, just like this one on the suicide cases. As I understand it, most of those are being held in suspension right now. They're stayed because there may be a joinder of all of the parties together in one action instead of multiple actions, and none of them have gone very far. So it's a developing area that will have twists and turns as we go, and we'll have to see how they play out.
In your opinion, does this lawsuit expose gaps in how AI is regulated in this country?
Yes, I'm actually greatly concerned having read this, and I'm not the type to be worried about AI and so forth. But having read the allegations, anyhow, it gives me grave concern about that people are trusting of AI to provide very significant, important answers that normally you would trust only to a professional who's licensed psychologists, et cetera. And that's why you have one of the claims in there about the AI not being licensed to provide the advice that it's been providing.
How difficult will it be to prove ChatGPT's responses directly caused this murder?
Well, it's all obviously going to be very difficult, but we'll have to. There'll inevitably be a lot of discovery taken in this case. It appears there's an allegation that, as of right now, ChatGPT has not turned over the entire set of ChatGPT communications, at the advice it was providing. So we'll have to see what the documents and the testimony show about this, but it does seem that there is an issue here. But of course, any defendant would rightfully say, we couldn't foresee, we're not responsible for some son decided to kill his mother. That's not on us.
Hmm.
It's unfortunate, it's sad, it's
Yeah.
tragic, it's all of these things, but we didn't cause it. He caused it, and perhaps we could have done things better. But there's hard to say that had they given warnings or so forth, that you still get a different result. But we will see. That'll probably come down to some expert testimony about his psychosis.
In your opinion, Mr. Biles, what kind of evidence would the plaintiff need to establish causation?
Well, I suspect they're going to have to have an expert eventually talk about how all of these communications contributed, made worse the son's condition, and led him down a path that otherwise he would not have gone down. It contributed substantially to his decline in his stability and his willingness to do an ungodly act.
Yeah, I mean, in your opinion, you would have to say that there would have to be a reoccurring conversation with Chat GPT. This couldn't be just one isolated conversation, right?
That's right, and it appears definitely not to have been. It was appeared to be an ongoing, long conversation in which, as I understand it, Chat GPT has said that is an issue with, if you engage in a long enough conversation, it will override its own controls meant to prevent the type of information that was being provided by Chat GPT in its response. And so it appears to have been a very long or a longer term and repeated conversation with Chat.
Obviously, the defense is going to argue the user's mental state, not the artificial intelligence, is the primary factor, right?
That's right, and his own wrongdoing. I mean, look, he committed a crime, and it's for many people it's hard to hold any other human being or an entity or a bot responsible for the actions of and as best I can see so far, it's not as if it said kill your mother. Now,
Yeah.
as opposed to some of the suicide ones, it suggests it was truly directly encouraging that behavior. It's not yet completed or shown that that's what happened here.
Who does the axe fall on, Mr. Biles? I mean, this case is opening the door to criminal liability for these tech executives, possibly. Who takes the fall for this?
Criminal liability, I think, is certainly a very large stretch at this point. This is a civil liability case, which is infinitely different standards and requirements of proof. Eventually, as you can tell, they've sued all entities that they could possibly sue, including the individuals. It will be the more you stretch this out from OpenAI to the attempt to get Microsoft, Sam Altman, and other entities that aren't directly responsible for the product, it becomes infinitely more difficult to show, and I think less likely. However, they've certainly made the allegations that Microsoft was intimately involved in some of the choices being made, and so are some of the entities and Mr. Altman. So we'll have to see how it plays out, and it'll be interesting because it is in California, and there's no doubt that that's intentional. It's a favorable venue for most cases, and in this case, there's obviously a direct tie that OpenAI is alleged to be based there. So there's a reason to be there. On top of it, it's not just wrongful form selection, but it's a more favorable venue.
Okay. Mr. Biles, I got a two-part question for you. One, have you ever tried an AI-related case? And two, how should law firms now prepare for the rise of these AI litigation cases?
Well, I have not tried an AI matter, but I always think there are lots of people who tell you, oh, it's a changing world, everything's changed dramatically. It hasn't. In the form of litigation is litigation. AI is just a new product, but it's a product nonetheless, and that's what this case is. It's a relatively straightforward product liability case, and the question is whether or not if it comes down to negligence, whether or not they acted as a reasonable, prudent manufacturer, did they design it correctly? Were they required to give warnings? Did they give appropriate warnings? Or this may well be, as it's pleaded, a strict liability case, because the argument here is that it's inherently dangerous. Uh, it's responding, giving psychological advice. It's responding to people who are mentally unstable at a minimum, answering questions that, you know, one might suggest they shouldn't be answering at all. And so it's new, but things change over time, but not really. It's the same law applied to a different set of facts. It can be applied just the same as any other case.
If this lawsuit succeeds, what does it mean for the future of AI? And will it start treating algorithms like legal actors? And how far should accountability go for technology that beginning to shape, I guess, human decisions?
I think the answer to the first part of that question is that it would hold people or entities responsible for designing proper safeguards. And I don't know, but it sounds like from the allegations that it's capable of doing that. They had controls in place, as it stated, that should not have happened. Then they loosened those controls to provide this information. So it would sound like this can be done. And if it can be done, hopefully it disrupt what is a brand new market that seems to have great potential in many respects to all of our lives, but it has risks, and it has to be controlled. And one would hope that the companies themselves can find ways to protect the consumers at the end of the day without too much disruption. But of course, we always face that there may be regulations coming down the road if they don't take care of it themselves. One certainly can imagine others stepping in to force it upon them.
This lawsuit's got to be a wake up call for the legal system, right, regarding emerging technologies?
I hope it's more than the legal community. I hope it's all of us, because I happen to think AI is amazing, and is going to help us as a nation, as individuals, the world, accomplish many things much more efficiently and great. But we have to understand that there are risks, and we can't rush to the end without knowing what those consequences. We shouldn't blindly walk into the future without understanding what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how to control for the risk. Because in this case, we're talking about lives. We're talking about allegedly a mother who should still, an 83-year-old who should still be alive. We have the suicide cases where other people have tragically lost their lives.
Mhm.
It, we need to figure out how to have the upsides, and control the very serious risk.
Don Biles, founding member of Biles Wilson Law Firm, Dallas. Thank you for your insights today on this very intriguing case, and happy holidays to you, sir.
Thank you. Happy holidays. Thank you for having me.
You bet. All right, quick break here at the news desk. We're right back here with more next on KFYR Plus. All right, thank you for coming back with me here this afternoon on the KFYR Plus News Desk. Don't forget, coming up here at the top of the hour in 15 minutes, it's Dakota Drive with KFYR Sports Director Luke Gamble here again at the top of the hour. Well, stunning new images from the Jeffrey Epstein estate. The photos are a glimpse of his high-flying world featuring presidents, billionaires, and celebrities. Here's NBC's Ryan Nobles.